Hello and welcome. This is a Football España special. I'm the editor of Football España, Alan Feehely, and I'm here today with one of the hardest working and most well-known man in football at the moment, Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio, I know you're coming to you from Milan this afternoon. Come va?
Thank you. Super pleasure to be together. Thank you for the kind words and ready to answer your questions.
Brilliant. I guess first off, Fabrizio, I'll address the elephant in the room. He's a man who much of Spanish football has been fixated upon for quite some time now, Kylian Mbappé. I think Real Madrid have been gearing their transfer activity towards him for the last couple of years at least. I know, of course, there was movement last summer that didn't come to fruition. What can you tell me about this summer? He's of course out of contract in 2022. PSG wants to retain his services. How do you see things panning out?
Yes, in this specific moment, we are in November, and I think also for the coming weeks will be the same. So officially will be so quiet because at the moment there are no rumors, no front pages, no big talks around Kylian Mbappé. And it's normal, I think, because in this moment and also in the coming weeks, also both sides, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, need things to go like this because both sides are still fighting to have the best of the situation. Real Madrid are still fighting to have Kylian Mbappé as free agent next summer. They want Kylian Mbappé. He's the obsession of Florentino Perez, and he will try till the last day to convince Kylian Mbappé to sign as free agent. He knows that Kylian Mbappé wants to play for Real Madrid, but to sign the contract is another step to do, and this is why they are going quiet, because they know that Paris Saint-Germain were furious, as Leonardo said many times, with Real Madrid late approach last summer. And so for Real Madrid, it's making no sense now to talk about Mbappé, to continue their pressure on Kylian Mbappé in public. So this is why the situation is still quiet. And on Paris Saint-Germain side, is quiet because behind the scenes, they're still hoping till the last day available to change Kylian Mbappe's mind, offering him money, offering him a big project, offering him something new for the future, offering him a top team. So it's two giants, maybe the two bigger giants in football today, with Real Madrid with their history and Paris Saint-Germain with the economical power they have right now as no club in the world, trying to fight for maybe the best player in the world for the next 10 or 20 years together with Erling Haaland. So it's a super fight, and I expect this story to continue quite also in the coming weeks, because if Real Madrid will put pressure in the coming days, it's a problem in the negotiation also with Paris Saint-Germain, and they will be furious. And we know they don't need to talk with Paris Saint-Germain for next summer, but they need to do things as Kylian Mbappé wants, in a respectful way also for Paris Saint-Germain. And same is for Paris Saint-Germain side. They want to keep Kylian relaxed, calm, focusing on football, because they have Kylian as a player this year and they want to win immediately. So they want Kylian to be happy with the current situation and then maybe change his mind during the season. This is the mission of Paris Saint-Germain. So it's a silent strategy, but I'm sure that in January we will be back with a big fight, let's say like this.
Absolutely. I guess a lot of talk in Spanish football has been around the departure of several stars in the league over the last few seasons. So you've Cristiano in 2018, and then last summer, of course, you've Sergio Ramos and Lionel Messi leaving. Do you think that Spanish football has declined in terms of its desirability for kind of top young talents, or do you think it's still there? And do you think that should Kylian Mbappé join Real Madrid this summer, as has been discussed so long and so often, would that be almost kind of a lightning rod? And would that kind of show the world that Spanish football actually isn't dead? It's here to stay, very much so.
No, I don't see Spanish football declining, to be honest. I think in general it's not an easy moment for football. It's the same also for some Premier League clubs. Imagine that Manchester City were not able to sign a striker, and we're talking about Manchester City. Or see how in Italy Inter and Juventus maybe are struggling on economical point of view. So it's not just Spain, and in particular Barcelona, I think has been a terrible period for Barcelona more than for Spanish football. Because, for example, if you try to look for other clubs, I think Atletico Madrid are doing an incredible work, and I think they are so underrated on the international side. But what Atletico Madrid are doing and the team they have right now is something that is top world level. And so it's not only Real Madrid and Barcelona sometimes. So I think in general, Spanish football is not in the best moment, but it's not declining, in my opinion. It's part of the history of football. It's always like this. At the same time, I think for Real Madrid image, after trying to sign Kylian Mbappé last summer, after trying in public to confirm that Kylian Mbappé was their only target as talking about top players, I think they want and they need to sign him next summer, because it's also a matter of public image for Florentino Perez. He was trying till final day, because he wanted to show to the world, we are doing everything we can to sign Kylian Mbappé. Then if Paris Saint-Germain are turning down 170, 180 million euro for a player who is out of contract in 1 year, it's up to them, it's their decision. For the same mentality from Florentino, I expect him to try till the last day to convince Kylian Mbappé and to sign Kylian Mbappé next summer. Real Madrid need a new Galactico, and this is why they are trying this approach again, and they will try this approach again with Kylian Mbappé.
I guess another potential Galacticos coming onto the market this summer as well, Erling Haaland. He's putting up freakish numbers for Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga and has been for some time. He's consistently been linked with Madrid alongside Kylian Mbappé, and there's been different rumours that maybe Florentino wants to bring them both in kind of a coup de grace. But then in recent times, the tide seems to be turning to him going to maybe Bayern Munich or one of the Premier League clubs, Chelsea or Manchester City, for instance. How do you see Erling Haaland's future panning out this summer, given that he's the well spoken about and well known informal clause is coming into his contract in 2022?
I think it will be every single month a new rumor for Erling Haaland. So we have to be prepared that 1 month will be Real Madrid, the following one will be Barcelona, then we'll have English clubs, German clubs, and it's normal because all these clubs are interested in Haaland. So this is the truth. Real Madrid had approaches with Mino Raiola. Barcelona had approaches, you remember, last summer in May. It was the end of May, beginning of June, they had a meeting with Mino Raiola too. In England, they need top striker next summer, Manchester City, as we mentioned, but also let's see what Chelsea want to do. Manchester United, what will be the situation? And same for Bayern Munich with Lewandowski, if they want to continue with him or try something different. So a lot of top clubs are interested in Haaland. They're keeping tabs on his situation, and it's absolutely normal. I can tell you that nothing is agreed or nothing is decided. Many times I see rumors around saying it's already agreed for Haaland to join this or the other club. It's not true, because Erling Haaland is always deciding about the project. Okay, money are important for every single player in the world and for his agent Raiola and for his family. So I'm not saying it's only the project, but if you look at Erling Haaland's mentality, and I'm told that it's exactly the same right now. He said no to Juventus when he was at Molde because he wanted to play and to do the right step, and so he joined Salzburg. When he was at Salzburg, he had the chance to join Man United or Juventus, and he wanted to go to Borussia Dortmund because of the project and because it was the right step. So what I'm told is that Haaland will not decide in November, in December, in October, or in January. He wants to wait in the coming months to see what is the situation, the real situation. Because, for example, let's see what will be the situation of Guardiola with Man City, of Real Madrid with Kylian Mbappé. They are signing Mbappé or not? Who will be the manager of Real Madrid next season? They will continue with Ancelotti or not? What is the state of Barcelona? Manchester United have a dangerous situation with Solskjaer. So is everything so open? And also Paris Saint-Germain, maybe. If they're going to lose Mbappé, what is going to happen with strikers? So Erling wants to look for opportunities around Europe when it's the right moment to decide. And it's making no sense to decide right now. This is what I'm told when I ask about these rumors from Haaland's side. They always tell me is not now the moment to decide. We want to decide the right step at the right moment. We have many possibilities because, as you mentioned, together with Mbappé, he's the biggest star in the world of football for the coming years and right now. And so he's going to take his time, but I'm sure that Real Madrid are looking at the situation as they are doing for Kylian Mbappé. So they are monitoring the situation. But when you mention top clubs, it's absolutely normal.
Absolutely. So many variables too, I guess. I want to move on to Barcelona in a moment, but first I just want to ask you about two former Real Madrid men who are currently elsewhere. Zinedine Zidane, obviously without a club after leaving Real Madrid just at the end of last season, and Sergio Ramos, who's joined PSG, of course, in a free transfer. Just on Zidane first, he's been linked with the Manchester United job if Solskjaer was to lose his position there in the next few weeks or months. I know Julian Laurent has mentioned that he's not really interested in the move to Real Madrid. Do you have anything further to Manchester United? Do you have anything further on that, or do you corroborate Julian Laurent's reports, or what do you think about Zidane?
I'm told something similar, so that Zidane is not desperate to be back at work right now during the season without doing any pre-season with the team. He was suffering this kind of aspect with Real Madrid when he was joining back after a difficult years a few years ago. So he's not desperate to come back right now. He's enjoying his private life in this moment. And so this is why Zidane is not desperate to accept a potential proposal from Man United. From what I'm told, Man United have not contacted Zidane. So at the moment, there is nothing going on. Let's see, maybe they will be able, if they want in the coming weeks, to change his mind. Look what happened with Tottenham and Antonio Conte. Conte 3 weeks ago was not even considering Tottenham job. Then they called him, they gave him exactly what he wanted on aspects of football, and then he said yes. So in football, you can never know how you can change the mind of these people. But at the moment, Zidane is not desperate to come back, and so I don't see Zidane joining any club in a few weeks. Maybe next summer with the right proposal, with the right project, okay, it could be different, or maybe for French national team after the World Cup. But at the moment, the situation is still so relaxing around Zidane. No one is desperate to open and talk.
Typical of Zidane, very, very cool and collected figure. Ramos is maybe not so cool and collected, you could say. He's quite a more competitive and aggressive character on the football pitch. He has been for 15 or 16 years since he broke through at Sevilla. He's obviously joined PSG, not played for them yet after 4 or 5 months. Talk amongst his camp recently has been that he's on his way back to full fitness, that maybe towards the end of November he'll finally get onto the pitch wearing the blue of PSG. But then simultaneously, there's been talk about PSG maybe wanting to rescind his contract and Nasser Al-Khelaifi becoming a bit kind of tired of the situation. Do you have any update in Sergio?
No, around Sergio Ramos, also as his brother and agent René said a few days ago, and I'm told exactly the same. They have no intention to resolve the contract. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain were expecting something different from Sergio, but then when he arrived, they knew about this injury and they decided to proceed with Sergio, to wait for Sergio at the right moment. So at the moment, of course, they can't be happy, both sides, Sergio Ramos and Paris Saint-Germain. But now he's back with the team. He's going to need some weeks to be at the right condition. At the right moment, he will be back on the pitch. But I don't expect something to happen in the coming weeks or in the coming months for Sergio Ramos. I think he will complete this season with Paris Saint-Germain. And maybe at the end of the season, they will decide together, also saying if he will have another injury or maybe he will not able to play in the coming months. He knows, Sergio Ramos knows, and also Paris Saint-Germain board know how the situation in football is important in February, March, when Champions League top games are coming. Paris Saint-Germain are focused on these months. This is what is key for Paris Saint-Germain this season. So I think we will have the final answer on Sergio Ramos and PSG like in March, in April, when for Paris Saint-Germain will be the key moment of the season. If Sergio Ramos will be there, I'm sure that Sergio will be there, but if he has no injury, I think everything will be on the right way. If Sergio maybe will be injured again on this kind of situation, maybe it could be the possibility of next summer to say, okay, let's find another solution. But as of now, everything is still under control, with both sides not so happy, but prepared to change this feeling around Ramos deal.
Understood. And moving on to Barcelona, obviously Xavi Hernandez has come into the club this week. He was presented on Monday, took his first training session Tuesday, has laid down several new rules, kind of, laying down the law, you could say. It's been a recurring theme in football in the last few years. We've kind of club legends returning to the clubs that they made their name with as coaches. You've Solskjaer, obviously. You have Andrea Pirlo. You have Zinedine Zidane, and now you have Xavi Hernandez, Frank Lampard as well in the recent past. But something, at least from the Spanish media's perspective, feels a bit different about Xavi. It feels like he's not just got this because of his name as a player. He's got it because of his cultural connection with the club. So I just want to ask you what you think about this trend of coaches returning to clubs where they made their names as players. And do you think that Xavi is a different case?
I think we need to separate, I agree with your point, but I think we need to separate managers that are directly going to top clubs just because maybe of their name. Look what happened with Andrea Pirlo, because it's not convenient for the manager himself. Pirlo was going directly to Juventus, was not even working with the under 23 or with any other club. And I think it's not helpful for the manager and for the person, because you will have a lot of pressure and you have no experience to face this kind of situation. And so for Andrea Pirlo at Juventus was super complicated. Then you have managers like Steve Gerrard and like Xavi that are trying some experience abroad, trying something new, also like outside for Xavi or Rangers for Gerrard, that could seem easy. Okay, you can say he's going to Al Sadd, he has money, he's Xavi, so he can win easily. But it's not always like this. You have your experience in talking with the board in a different position and not as a player. I'm told that Xavi was really loved, but really loved at Al Sadd by the players, by the board. You can learn how to manage the situation in the dressing room. Is something important. Also, if you're not doing an experience like working for Man United or Real Madrid, but you're working with Al Sadd, with all respect for Al Sadd, he was really having a big experience from this, and I'm sure that this is a good message for Barcelona. I see disappointment as the perfect one, to be honest. I don't know how long it will take to see the real ideas of Xavi on the pitch, because of course it's impossible in 1 week or 2 weeks to change the whole situation, but the impact he had with the president, with the fans, with the board, imposing his ideas, having a direct relationship with the players to tell them, okay, here I'm deciding. I'm not here because I'm Xavi, but because I want to be a top manager for Barcelona. I'm told that the impact has been great, really. Also, people into the board super excited with Xavi, super excited with how he's approaching this new chapter, and how he knows it's not a party. There is nothing to celebrate for Xavi back to Barcelona. Okay, we had a nice day at Camp Nou, but they told me, he said, okay, we have to work since today afternoon. We need to change the situation. It's not, okay, we are happy, we are Xavi, it's Barca, we are back. We have to show on the pitch, we have to train hard. And this is how we approach this new chapter. And I think for Barca is exactly what they were needing. And for this movement of players back to the club as manager, I think it will continue. I think it will continue, and I expect it to continue also in the coming years, because now we have many legendary players that have been very good in their positions. Now try something new, and clubs are tempted by this opportunity, and also they don't have a lot of money to spend on top managers. Now to sign top managers, you need top contracts, and sometimes to pay also some clauses, maybe for 10, 12 million euro to sign. Look at Nagelsmann. It was a super high release clause. So if you can't pay, you need ideas, and ideas are always coming from your heart, sometimes with legendary players. So I expect these kind of things to happen and happen again.
Absolutely. Xavi's spoken about bringing a winning mentality to Barcelona, bringing it back to Barcelona, because it's something that waned a bit under Ronald Koeman, you could say. Mediocrity was more accepted. One man who has a winning mentality, without a doubt, is Dani Alves. And he's been discussed a lot the last few hours, especially, that he could be on the verge of returning to Barcelona. I think he wants a good environment to prepare for the 2022 World Cup, maybe his final swan song as a professional player. He's 38 years old now. He's the most successful player to ever play the game. Would he be returning in a playing role? Would he be challenging Serginho Dest and Sergio Roberto for that right back spot? Or would it be more an advisory role, do you think, that would lead into a post-playing role?
They need him in Xavi ideas, in the dressing room and the training, to show to the team how is the mentality for a player, as you mentioned, who is 38, but he's still winning and leading and never stop to compete at top level. So they need a player like this into the dressing room to help, as Piqué, as Busquets are doing. They need this kind of player. And also the technical point, because I'm sure that if Xavi was thinking that Dani Alves is not a player that could be good for Barcelona on the pitch, he was not even considering to sign him. But in the last hours, Xavi was telling to the club and to the board, he wants Dani Alves also as a player, so also to compete with Serginho and with Sergio Roberto. Maybe he will need Serginho also sometimes to play as a winger, and this is why, as he's doing with the national team, and this is why also Dani Alves should help in some kind of games to play as right back. So it's an appointment he wanted in the last hours to discuss. Let's see if Barcelona will be able to find the right way with La Liga rules and with his contract. It could be 1-year contract with an option for the second season. So they're still discussing with Dani agents to find the right way and to not create any problem with La Liga rules. They are on it. They have a meeting scheduled. But yes, Dani Alves is an idea of Xavi, because, for example, Ronald Koeman didn't want him. He was not even considering this signing for Barcelona when Dani Alves offered himself 1 month ago. And now with Xavi is completely different. So you can see how different positions are coming in only 2 or 3 weeks.
As well as experience options, it's said that Xavi is looking at younger players too. So I think 3 men who were mentioned in the Catalan press in the previous days were 3 kind of wide forwards, you could say. Dani Olmo, Raheem Sterling, and so I'm drawing a blank here. Ferran Torres, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
With Raheem Sterling being the kind of most likely option given the financial situation and where he is at Manchester City. Can you tell me anything more on those 3 players and the likelihood each have of coming to Barcelona and what the story is there exactly?
Yes, for Ferran Torres, I think is close to the impossible for January transfer market, because Pep Guardiola loves him, and in Manchester City they are super happy with him. So I don't see Ferran Torres leaving Manchester City. For Raheem Sterling, they need to take a decision because he's out of contract in 2023, and Manchester City wants to take a final decision with Raheem. So or you sign a new deal, or we need to sell you. So this is the situation with Raheem Sterling, and this is why it's true that Barcelona are super interested in him. Someone in the board loves this player, and also last summer in June he was in the list of potential targets, but then for the economical situation of Barcelona it was impossible to sign Sterling. I think that in January it's not going to be easy also for Sterling, because Manchester City want at least 50-60 million for Sterling, and it's not going to be an easy deal for Barcelona in the current financial situation. Maybe if they will be creative to find a way with a loan, with obligation to buy, to pay in many years, It's not going to be easy because Manchester City don't like this kind of deals, but let's see if they will be able to have something new for Sterling. But 100% sure that he's a player appreciated by the board in Barcelona. And talking about Dani Olmo, I'm told that he's in first position, more than Sterling as kind of player, also because he's Spanish. He would be perfect for Barcelona style. Last summer, Barca on deadline day were desperate to try for Dani Olmo, but Leipzig were not even considering a negotiation. So it was not, don't give me 10, give me 20 million and we're going to do the deal. It was not even a conversation because German clubs are not open to do this kind of deal at last minute. So it's something that was absolutely impossible. In January, it's going to be super difficult too. So I'm not sure that any one of Ferran Torres, Sterling, and Dani Olmo will be able to join Barcelona in January. But I think for the future will be three players that they will monitor, Dani Olmo in particular, together with Sterling. But for Olmo in January, it's going to be complicated again because, as I mentioned, for deadline day, German clubs are not so happy to sell their players during the season. It's not in German club style. So they want important proposals. And I don't know for the current situation if Barcelona will be able to go to Leipzig and convince them with the right proposal. So they have to be creative. They have to go for opportunities. And so I expect Barcelona to do something on the market, but maybe going for this name is not going to be super easy.
We've gone to Atletico Madrid quickly. Just want to ask you about Saúl Ñíguez because he's been linked to the return to Atletico in January. His loan at Chelsea hasn't really worked out. How do you see that happening? Do you think he'll return or does he want to stay and fight it out in London?
At the moment, I'm told that he still wants to fight for his place at Chelsea. We are in November, so let's see what happens in January. But at the moment, Saúl still wants to try. We know how football is. In 2 or 3 games, you can change your position. Thomas Tuchel is very open manager, so he's still waiting for Saúl to adapt to a new life in London, to a new language, because he's now studying English, to be comfortable with his Chelsea life, and then to proceed together. So at the moment, there is nothing on this point, but maybe in January, of course, if Saúl is not playing, maybe Saúl, his agent, Chelsea, and Atletico Madrid will take a different decision. But as of now, he's still focused on change his position at Chelsea. He really wants to succeed in the Premier League. He had this dream to play in the Premier League one day. So I'm sure that he will find till the final day for this Chelsea spot. Let's see if he will be able to change the situation.
Got you. Just to finish up, I should ask you about a few players who've been linked with departures from either from La Liga or from the clubs within La Liga, either this January or this summer. First up, Jules Koundé, Sevilla centre back, very, very talented guy. He was obviously, of course, linked with several moves over the last couple of years. What's your view on how his future is developing? He seems content at Sevilla right now, but he also seems that he's maybe ready to step up for a club who's competing for the major honours, the Champions League titles, that kind of thing. And Sevilla aren't that right now.
Yes, I think next summer he will be a player that we will mention on transfer market again. This last summer was really one step away from leaving Sevilla. Chelsea were super close at one point, including Kurtzuma in the deal. Then it collapsed because of the compensation for Sevilla. Then they were trying in the final days, but Sevilla only wanted the release clause and Chelsea wanted to pay less than this, around 50 million. So it was a long negotiation. I'm sure that in the summer, because I think in January it's not going to be easy, but I think in the summer it's going to be one of the names with many top clubs involved. Maybe Chelsea again, but also some other Premier League club. Many clubs are looking at Koundé's situation because, as you mentioned, he's a fantastic centre-back. And I think also Sevilla know that to make profit of this player, because he's always in Sevilla mentality, okay, they are enjoying him again this season, but maybe next summer will be the right time to let him go. We will see, but they want real money. They're not accepting 40 or 50 million. They want 60, 65, 70, or they're not even accepting any talk for Koundé. So I'm curious to see where he will go, but I'm sure that he will have many opportunities.
Very, very talented guy. And at the other end of his career, you could say Eden Hazard. He's almost 30 now. He's not playing much football at all this season. Carlo Ancelotti's on the record as saying he prefers other players to him. What's his future hold? I mean, where will he go from here? Will he stay at Madrid? Will he go to Newcastle, as has been rumored? What do you think exactly?
This is a good question because at the moment it's really super quiet on Hazard side. They are still waiting to see what is going to be the final decision from Real Madrid and from Carlo Ancelotti. Of course, now it's not an easy situation. Eden Hazard wants to play, he wants to be a starter, but to be a starter and play, you have to be perfect for the standards of your club. And this is why it's not a super easy situation. We always have 1 million of rumors around Hazard. Also last summer we had about Juventus. Now we have Newcastle. I'm sure we'll have Chelsea rumor again in the coming weeks because he wants to be a starter at the top level. But at the moment, really, from Real Madrid, they say they have not received any proposal for Eden Hazard. So they are not negotiating with any club, and the situation is still super quiet. I think in January is not going to be an easy deal. Maybe they need something creative also on this side. But I think next summer, if it continue like this, Hazard will be one of the players who mentioned leaving Real Madrid, and will be an interesting summer for Real Madrid, for Hazard, Marcelo, Isco, Bale, many players with this kind of situation, and many out of contract too.
And as a final question for Fabrizio, Ousmane Dembélé, interesting case, a super talented player. He came on against Valencia last weekend and was playing at a different speed to everybody else. You could say he was phenomenal, but then got injured very, very quickly. Talked this morning that he was the first player to break one of Xavi's rules and turn up late for training. Barcelona are said to want to renew his contract. Xavi said to value him highly. But of course, his deal expires this summer. What's the latest with Ousmane? Do you think that he'll stay at Barca and renew, or do you think he could be tempted to go elsewhere?
No, now Barcelona are confident to find an agreement with Ousmane Dembélé. This month in November, they will have another direct contact with the player, with his agent, with his brother to find an agreement. Xavi was super positive in his official first press conference on Dembélé, and they want to offer him a new deal since a long time. So they are still in negotiation. They will have this new contact, and they really hope that Dembélé finally will say, yes, I'm prepared to stay. So from Barcelona, they are still hoping to have a positive end of this story in the coming days. November, this month, will be the key one to have the final answer. But from Barcelona, they're confident now. Let's see, because with Dembélé, this story has always been super crazy. Also, 2 years ago, he was close, and then he decided to turn down the proposal. Last summer was a bit crazy. Now it seems different with Xavi. Let's see, but Barcelona are now confident, and so Ousmane Dembélé, then Gavi, new deal, and then Araujo in the coming months will be the next renewals that Barcelona want to do.
Fantastic. That's all we have time for today. Thanks so much for your time, Fabrizio. It's greatly appreciated. I'm sure everybody who's listening to this already follows you on Twitter, but just in case they don't, what's the Twitter handle?
Thank you. It's a super pleasure. Thank you for your questions, for your interview. It was a super pleasure to be together, and see you soon.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Fabrizio. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.